Hello, welcome to another Friday video number 2 of 2026. Well, last week, if you haven't seen that already, please tune into that one. That's all about a very rough overview of what the main energies are coming in for 2026. They're moving from the year of the snake to the year of the horse, letting go and fast moving forward. More about that in the previous video. This one's going to be more about, so it's the start of the year. Are you happy where you currently are in life? What actions do you need to take or start or even sit down and think about where you want to be in 6 months' time or by the end of the year, where you can utilize those energies that are prevalent, that fast moving energy, that helpful energy of the horse, and all the other ones as well that will be about flowing in and out throughout the year, the full moon energies, the Beltanes and all of those that you may believe in, because you believe in them and put energy in them and take stock of them, that they will have an influence on how your 2026 pans out. So the first question about asking yourself this year is, are you happy where you are? Because the thing is, we are actually always exactly where we're meant to be, more often for reasons that we cannot see. In other words, we're always meant to be where we are on a day-to-day basis. Yes, we have the power to change that, but in the moment, you're always exactly where you are. Whether that's work, relationships, friendships, even if you're in the right shopping centre doing the shopping because you're meant to see some spiritual sign or bump into somebody that's got an opportunity for you, or overhearing a conversation that's deeply insightful because of a challenge you're having in your life there and then. Or if you can follow intuition, which is a whole series of videos on its own, learning how to follow intuition, but also utilizing that in such a way that it's beneficial to your life, where you're not just going, well, I don't know how to follow it, or I don't know what guidance is, or that belief that intuition is some alien thing that you don't know how it works, which, to be fair, intuition is it's a non-linear thing. It's just a thing within us that works and we don't really know how. It's like our heart beating. Yes, science and physics can tell us how that works, the muscle contracting, etc., and pumping the blood around the body. Probably a poor example, a poor likeness. But there's many things in the world we don't know how they work, but we just trust that they do. May not be a mechanic, we may not have any idea of how the internal combustion engine works, but we drive the car and just trust that it does. Those kinds of things. Intuition definitely falls into that category. It's just an energy within us that's there, that sometimes just appears as good instinct, sometimes appears as really deep knowing, sometimes appears as just a loud voice that tells you to walk over there and talk to that person. Many different levels of intuition that guide us in certain ways. Mine is just kind of this little nagging doubt that if I don't follow it, creates an actual physical strong resistance if I'm walking away from that guidance that's there in the moment. It literally happened to me this morning. I was about to walk out of a shop without buying a little ornament of a white heart, as in H-A-R-T, the royal stag or the spiritual stag, which, for those that know me, the stag is very symbolic in my logo and who I am as a person. It's just a big part of me, and it just became a part of me. I was never really a lover of that animal growing up or anything like that. Tigers, often people love tigers their whole life. Me, I don't know why. It just became a thing and it just feels right. That's kind of intuition. So going back to the video, like knowing why we're here in this moment, let's take work, for example. You might be not liking where you are, but it still might be teaching you something. So therefore, you're there for a reason, for reasons that you cannot see, because the divine timing moment hasn't appeared yet to teach you the thing you need to learn for the next stage of your life. So that resistance, that, I don't like being here and trying to create the move, is actually detrimental to you. Whereas you just embrace where you are and accept it, it will naturally flow and close with another opportunity to replace it immediately in a more organic way. So in other words, the saying that I've just mentioned is like, you're always exactly where you're meant to be for reasons that you cannot see. For the reasons that you cannot see, that's where intuition goes, look, there is something there. You've got to remain or you've got to go. It obviously works both ways. But that little ditty, I suppose, the second half with the reasons you cannot see, another way to say it is the universe works in amazing ways, or you might say God works in mysterious ways, where there's stuff going on in the background in your unseen realm. Cogs are turning for your favor where you don't directly see them, but your intuition is kind of going, look, there's something happening. Keep where you are, or yes, you'll get the nagging if it's time to move as well, but let's just go with the, you're meant to remain. You follow that and you push through the ego trying to force, or the impatience trying to force that new opportunity that creates a gap and creates turmoil and emotional upheaval and all those negative things because you've pushed too early, you've moved too early. Having that intuitive knowing to remain and to stay calm helps the nervous system, helps the human body create space and calmness and grace. So when it's time to move to the next stage of life, it will all happen organically. The opportunity will just present itself. It'll be very easy to take. You won't be stressed because you haven't pushed yourself out of something too early. All of those things, all the dominoes just nicely fall at the right moments. And you go, oh, I'm really glad I had the patience and had the grace and had the ability to hold fast, stay strong, learn. Even if you didn't realize what you was there to learn, because you were there, you learnt it anyway. So that's a great way to start 2026 in that energy of going, right, am I exactly where I'm meant to be for now? Rather than going, well, I don't like being here. Or, those things that kind of creates that anxious energy because you just jump in ahead of time. It's about tuning into the now. It's only the now that exists. The past and the future are technically illusions. They're not a real thing. They've happened and they can't be changed, or they're not happening and it may never happen. So the now you can be present with, and the presence of being where you are now, you can use your intuition to go, right, does this feel right? And that's the beauty of intuition. Intuition is it's only a now thing. Yes, look, intuition can also sort of tune into future energies, but more because it's coming from the now, going, look, this is where it can lead you if you take this course of action, if you make this choice. If you take that decision too soon, too early, with intuition say there's no good idea, and it might create a feeling of fear within your body or a feeling of a no. Whereas, yes, remain here, learn this thing. If you remain here for a couple of months, let's say, it's the intuition is saying, yes, this feels right. It feels calm. It's calm waters. A 2 mile an hour ripple on the sea, so it shows that there's still movement, but nice and gentle and graceful. So there you go. That's another little video just to say, look, don't get too impatient about trying to change everything drastically just because it's the brand new year. The New Year's resolution. You can change at any time in the year in the divine timing, in the divine moment. So follow that intuitive nudging of when to move, when to stay, when to take action, when to remain neutral, and everything else in between. Follow that. Your life this year will be amazing. It'll flow amazing. It'll be all organic. So much less stress, much more health, much more calmness, much more sanity of mind, and much more clarity. The calmer you are, the more clear your intuition will be. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again this time next week. Take care.